When Trump won in 2016, at the same time that all these right-wing populist parties who were just like Trump also won between 2016 and 2018, primarily using free speech on social media and their popularity there, they argued that right-wing populism was the same authoritarian threat that left-wing socialism, left-wing communism was. And so they said, well, populism is the people's ground-up revolt against institutions, against government, science, media, against the NGOs, the experts, the academics. So what they did is they argued that democracy has to be defended from demagoguery. Democracy needs guardrails. We need bumper cars on democracy that go beyond what people vote for, because people voted for Hitler. People voted for Trump. And they were doing this at U.S. government conferences, by the way, in 2017. I can show you some funny ones if you're interested. But they were arguing that we need these institutional guardrails against people voting for the wrong person. And those institutional guardrails are so-called democratic institutions, which is another cute rhetorical trick because that's the CIA State Department watchword for asset. When USAID, for example, goes in and funds university centers, media outlets, parliamentarian groups, activist groups, legal scholars, you name it in a region, they are building up their assets to exert soft power influence on that society, on that government, in order to influence the passage of laws, the span of operations that they're doing that touch the U.S. Embassy in the region. And so what they argued is actually democracy is not about the will of individuals. It's about the consensus of institutions. So if there's institutional consensus building between the military, the diplomatic sphere, the intelligence community, the NGOs, the media outlets, the universities, that's really democracy. Those are the institutional guardrails, the people who know best. That's a difficult process, by the way. That's a process that takes months, years. That's why there are these major consensus-building institutions like the Atlantic Council and the Council on Foreign Relations and Wilson Center and the Carnegie Endowment. We have a whole suite of consensus-building institutions to bring together the banks, the corporations, the government officials, the outside interests, so they all get on the same page about a certain policy or initiative or regional drive or industrial change. If at the end of that process, a bunch of people vote for a politician because he does funny TikTok videos or he's got a popular dance and throws a monkey wrench in those years of consensus building, that they began to view as an attack on democracy. And so they said democracy is really about institutions. And you can actually look up, for example, Reid Hoffman. In 2019, they were doing all of these conferences where they said elections are a threat to democracy. Elections corrupt democracy because we can't think of democracy as elections anymore. For example, Ukraine has banned elections. We still say we are providing $300 billion of military support to promote democracy in Ukraine, even though they don't have elections. Well, it's because of it's controlled by U.S. institutions.